stable. She says particularly if you're travelling over the weekend where tickets are 300% as much as previously. And no, we won't come on to medicinal plants, I think, after we run out of time. See you tomorrow.
The Endurance is presented today by Peter White. It is produced by Will the warm weather continue this afternoon? Let's over to the BBC Weather Centre to find out. Let's say good afternoon to Chris Forbes.
Good afternoon, Neil. And yes, well, for some of us, the warm weather is set to continue, not just today actually, but over the next few days as well. Big change between yesterday and today. Well, yesterday was the hottest day of July. Hottest July day we've ever had actually, with temperatures of 36.7 degrees Celsius recorded at Heathrow. Today, well, there's a bit more cloud in the sky and the winds are coming in more from the southwest, which is dragging in air off the Atlantic. It's not that it's cold, it's just not as hot as it has been. Okay, let's start off with the forecast detail then. Across southwest England, Wales, the northwest Midlands and northwest England too. Here we'll see plenty of showers through the afternoon, and some of the showers will turn heavy and thundery. There is a risk of some hailstorms within these showers, maybe even a little bit of large hail around in one or two spots. And temperature-wise, we'll always see the bright or sunny spells coming through. We should see temperatures between around 20 and 23 degrees Celsius. We'll forecast a bit further eastwards for central southern England, southeast England, the south and east Midlands, eastern England and northeast England. Well, many areas will have a dry afternoon with bright or hazy sunny spells, and it'll be warm once again with temperatures typically between 22 and 25 degrees Celsius. However, across parts of East Anglia, particularly around parts of Norfolk and Suffolk, temperatures will be higher. We're just hanging on to some of that warmth. We see a temperature of around 28, maybe 29 degrees around the Norfolk area, so still feeling very warm and humid. There will be one or two showers pushing across these areas too, but by and large the rain not amounting to too much across these areas, and quite a few places will avoid the showers altogether. Looking at the forecast now for Northern Ireland, cloud continues to break, sunny spells coming through, and outside chance of an afternoon shower. Most dry though, with temperatures of 23 degrees. And finally for Scotland, a lot of dry weather here through this afternoon with sunny spells. However, well, we'll see some thunderstorms moving into the south as we head towards the evening time. Temperatures, well, between around 20 and 24 degrees Celsius, but warmer towards northern and eastern areas where we could see highs reaching around about 20 degrees. Overnight for northern England and Scotland, some very heavy thundery downpours.
The A404 Harrow Road, Sudbury, remains closed because of a police incident between the Sudbury roundabout and Bridgewater Road. The 92, the 182 and the 245 on diversion. Thanks to David for his update on the M25 in Surrey. There is one lane closed on the M25 clockwise, not far from junction 6. The junction 6 is quite slow. This is because of an earlier accident, and the vehicles involved have been moved to one of the lanes that's shut. Anticlockwise slow around junction 12, the M3. Anticlockwise at the Dartford Tunnel, looking a little slow in the last 10-15 minutes or so, with congestion at times back to junction 2. Lower Thames Street remains slow, so the superhighway works, of course. West India Dock Road or Westbury Road, an accident has taken out a lane there. We're slow on Battersea Rise in both directions, partially because I think the A3 Clapham Common north side on the westbound Elspeth Road is lacking a lane.
It's an A380. Oh wow.
The Northern One, this is Sean Lay with 45 minutes of news and comment. Should the UK take military action against ISIS in Syria?
This is, of course, a new parliament, and it is for all members to consider carefully how best to tackle ISIL, an evil caliphate that does not respect state boundaries.
Michael Fallon is currently addressing MPs after first raising the subject on this programme yesterday. We'll examine whether airstrikes have worked in Iraq, and if new MPs could reverse the defeat the House of Commons inflicted on the government 2 years ago. Plans for 1,000 job cuts and a leaner and simpler BBC have been announced this morning. We ask what it means for licence fee payers. Hold-ups continue on either side of the channel as the strike by French ferry workers causes chaos. I've been speaking to one of the main ferry operators.
It is in the interest of nobody for this industrial action to continue. It's not in the interest of the tourists who in their tens of thousands have had their holidays disrupted. It's not in the interest of the businesses whose supply chains are dependent on cross-channel travel. And it's not in the interest of French or British economies.
The police have confirmed that a member of a family of 12 believed to have travelled to Syria was stopped by officers the day before they left the UK. We'll have the latest from Luton and speak to the local police and crime commissioner. The BBC News is read by Neil Sleet.
The Defence Secretary Michael Fallon said the
consider sanctioning airstrikes against Islamic State targets in Syria. The RAF has been carrying out operations over Iraq since September, but speaking in the Commons, Mr Fallon said recent events in Tunisia and elsewhere have demonstrated that the threat from international terrorism was undiminished. Labour has said it would consider any proposals for additional airstrikes against so-called Islamic State. From Westminster is our political correspondent Ian Watson.
The Defence Secretary has long questioned whether airstrikes should be limited to Iraq. Following the attack of British tourists in Tunisia, Michael Fallon believes it's timely to reconsider whether to widen military activities against IS as its operations are directed from northern Syria. Government sources stressed that no action was imminent, and the Defence Secretary said in most circumstances any military intervention would be subject to a vote in the House of Commons. Labour opposed airstrikes in Syria in 2013, but the party's interim leader, Harman, believes the circumstances are different now. She told the BBC that action against President Assad would have involved attacking a foreign government, but that IS is a terrorist organisation that's ignoring the border between Iraq and Syria. However, some Conservatives, including the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Crispin Blunt, have expressed doubts about further British military action without a wider diplomatic strategy.
The Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond has confirmed that 30 Britons were killed in the Tunisian beach attack. 38 people died in total. 8 bodies were brought back to the UK yesterday. Another 9 will be flown home today. The BBC is to cut more than 1,000 jobs, partly because fewer people are buying the TV licence. The corporation said the licence fee would bring in around £150 million less next year than was forecast in 2011. Here's our media correspondent, David Sillito.
1,000 jobs will go, many in professional and support areas. Layers of management will be removed and the number of divisions will be reduced too. It's hoped to create a simpler BBC. This will save around £50 million, but there's more to come. The BBC says its projected income for 2017 is £150 million less than it expected, much of which it puts down to the increase in the number of households not paying a licence fee because they say they no longer watch live television or only use the iPlayer as a catch-up service. The government has set out how it intends to give English MPs a greater say on legislation affecting only England. Under the plans, only MPs representing English constituencies will be able to vote on such laws at a new committee stage in Parliament. The bills are scrutinised line by line. From Westminster, Alex Forsyth reports.
When the Prime Minister promised further powers for the Scottish Parliament following last year's referendum, he also said it was only fair English MPs had control over English matters. Today, the government gave details of its proposal. Under the plans, every MP would continue to vote on every bill, but legislation affecting only English or English and Welsh constituencies would need support from a majority of English or English and Welsh MPs, as well as a majority of all MPs. English MPs would also be able to amend England-only legislation. The leader of the House of Commons, Chris Humphrey, said it was right and fair the voice of English MPs was strengthened as more power was devolved from Westminster. But Labour accused the government of rushing through controversial and complex changes to the Constitution. The SNP said the proposal would further the case for Scottish independence, while some Tory backbenchers think the plans don't go far enough.
Some of the thousands of lorries stuck for days on the M20 in Kent are starting to move. The HGVs are now being sent up the motorway towards Dover and the Channel Tunnel in large numbers, after the blockade by French ferry workers at Calais was partially lifted last night. However, the M20 remains shut at Junction 9. Our correspondent Angus Crawford reports.
Lorries are travelling at speed on the outside lane, whereas closest to me on the hard shoulder they are nose to tail as far as I can see. But the queues at Junction 9 are now moving at regular intervals. Police are releasing groups of lorries from the front and directing them on towards the tunnel, and also Dover, where P&O is running a reduced service to and from France. Operation Stat remains in force and the M20 is closed to other traffic in both directions. French ferry workers are now holding talks aimed at trying to resolve their dispute. About 200 workers are still occupying ferries blockading Calais, but have agreed to suspend any action while negotiations continue.
America has asked the Swiss authorities to extradite 7 former FIFA officials arrested in May in an alleged corruption investigation into the governing body of World Football. The
27 from North and South America are accused of involvement in bribes for marketing deals for football tournaments. They previously indicated they would oppose extradition. One of the most popular entertainers of the 1960s and 70s, the Irish singer Val Doonican, has died. He was 88. Val Doonican got his big break on Saturday night at the Palladium. A familiar figure on television, singing novelty songs from his rocking chair. Nicholas Dunn reports.
Michael Valentine Doonican was rarely out of the UK singles charts in the 60s and 70s. He even knocked the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper off the #1 spot in 1968 with the album Val Doonican Rocks, but gently. And he was given a television show that lasted for over 20 years. A keen golfer, talented watercolour painter and cook, he stopped performing in 2009 to enjoy retirement.
Nicholas Stonebridge.
Yes, thanks very much. After Michael Fallon's suggestion on this programme yesterday that it might be time to ask Parliament to reconsider its opposition to airstrikes in Syria, further signs that the political landscape is shifting. Labour, which helped ensure that David Cameron was defeated on this question in August 2013, says it's prepared to think again. The party's acting leader is Harriet Harman.
Everything that can be done to stop them must be, and any proposals that the government can forward which will help tackle the growing horror of ISIL, of course we'll look at them very, very seriously.
In the last few minutes during a debate in the House of Commons on Britain's place in the world, Mr Fallon said MPs needed to think about what to do about ISIS in Syria.